with this in a little bit.
Thanks. So, Bryan Hertz is the creator of VoxOx and CEO of Telcentris, and he's going to talk a little bit about his applications. We thought it'd be interesting to hear the perspective from an innovative voice application and communications application. I mean, as Richard said, we have a lot of, e164 numbers are quite useful. But so much communication goes on right now outside of that space, whether it be social networking, Twitter, etc. So, Bryan, please come up and tell us a little bit about VoxOx and what your perspectives are on this thing. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Hi there, I'm Bryan Hertz, CEO and one of the co-founders of Telcentris. I guess we put the slides in here?
Yeah, they're open.
Okay, great. So Telcentris was founded in 2006. We're a privately held company. We've got about 60 or so employees. And we're really, we've emerged as a leader in cloud communications. We have three distinct divisions within the business. One is consumer, and that really highlights the VoxOx universal communicator application that we've created. The other is our business division, or SMB division, where we sell hosted IP, PBX, SIP trunking, and contact center solutions. And we have a wholesale division where we sell hosted soft switch solution as well as carrier services. And within all of these, we leverage, obviously, e164 numbers. So I'm going to speak mostly about VoxOx today in terms of examples and things like that. But VoxOx is really coined as the universal communicator. It's a service and application that you sign up for. When you sign up for it, we give you a free e164 number. We randomly select it and assign it to you. And essentially, the promise of VoxOx, the idea behind VoxOx, is that it aggregates all of your different social networks, instant messengers, email accounts, and telephone numbers and fax numbers and things like that into one interface. Really, the idea is that we're trying to get all of your contacts into one place so that you can communicate with them very easily by any means that you choose. And at the heart of that really is a telephone number. So VoxOx is really a lot about reach. It's essentially, the idea is that to be universal, VoxOx has to be reachable from any phone or any device. We also have to support all popular communication modalities. Voice is one of those. Fax happens to be another one of those, although a lot of people these days wonder why in the world you need a fax number. Still, a lot of doctors' offices and attorneys and things like that. So one point is that e164 numbers, as part of telecom as a whole, is really still probably the most pure network out there. It's very ubiquitous out there. People can reach anyone from anywhere at any time, no matter where they happen to be. So in terms of VoxOx, it's also about functionality. It's about being found wherever you happen to be. A one number follow me type service can do that. It's about having a local presence wherever you are. You can be a small business with a local presence, having phone numbers in 10 countries around the world, or 30 cities, or whatever suits you. It's about efficiency. It's about not having too many numbers at one time and being able to give out one number. It's about saving money. And some specific examples of these are this intelligent one-number follow-me type service. This is something that we offer with VoxOx. You find it with Google Voice. There have been other services out there that have done this over the course of time. But it's essentially the idea of a single number to reach you on any phone. And essentially you give out the one number, it rings simultaneously to all your phones, or rings sequentially to each phone in order. This is one of those things where calls can be routed differently based on the e164 number or the caller ID of the actual caller. So if it's my wife, for example, all my phones ring at the same time. If it's a business contact, it might just call me on my cell phone and my office phone between the hours of 8 and 6 or whatever. There's also the concept of one number doing everything. And this is also one of the promises of VoxOx, essentially. So through this one e164 number that you have, really we offer the most powerful phone number in the world. It does two-way voice, two-way texting, and two-way faxing from the same number. So on my business card, I essentially only have one phone number that does everything. There's also the idea of many numbers in one account. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the idea of having either virtual numbers that are dedicated or shared. The dedicated numbers that we offer right now, you can pick a number locally in any area code around the US. You can pick vanity numbers, so you can type in the number that you want. It'll tell you if it exists on the network and you can order it. International numbers by country. This is something that we offer right now through VoxOx, that we actually offer in numbers in 50 countries. And this is the kind of thing you can come on the website, you can select the country, you can simply order it, and within minutes you're up and running. Somebody from that country could call you, and then placing a local call would call you wherever you happen to be around the world through VoxOx. Then there's also the concept of these shared numbers, and INUM is something that the Bowen folks brought to the table as well. And that is a local, free, shared number anywhere that you happen to be in the world. They're actually in 50 different countries. So the way that works is it's kind of like a calling card in a way. Somebody will call that number, the local access number, and then enter in your INUM number, which actually finds you on the network, wherever you happen to be. And that's available in 50 countries. Another way that that can be used, it's pretty cool, is if you happen to be traveling and you need to pick up your voicemail and there is an access number via INUM in one of those countries, you can actually dial it yourself for pretty cheap or free, depending on where you are, and you can actually dial in and pick up your voicemails and use it as a dial-around number. So now you can access your VoxOx or whatever other service is tied to INUM. You can actually place cheap calls from there. So essentially, in my opinion, e164 is still going strong. There are services like Skype and Facebook that are, at this point, they've gotten so large that they almost don't need e164 numbers. Yet, if you look at Skype, they've got Skype in. If you look at some of the recently announced or rumored partnerships, you've got Skype sort of federating with Facebook. So really, it's still a conduit to the outside world. And I think that the concept of peering is still very much important, and until all the networks are really peered together themselves, and even probably still then, e164 numbers are a pretty important thing to be able to communicate. It also still represents revenue for a lot of carriers, so these are things that are pretty part and parcel to the way that we communicate still. And just a couple thoughts on the future of e164 numbers. Now these numbers are no longer fixed to geography, so you can obviously get a number anywhere in the world that points to anywhere else in the world. Since the PSTN doesn't really support things like HD voice and video, your e164 number through enum or various peering arrangements can actually be used on net via IP communications to route calls that happen to be able to support things like HD voice and video. And the final point on this is that the e164 numbers, my e164 number, for example, even though I have a Skype ID and I have a Facebook ID and all those types of things, it still represents a service agnostic and portable ID, which means that I can bring it with me wherever I go. If I don't happen to want to be associated with Facebook or Skype anymore, through local number portability and other porting type arrangements, you can port your number from carrier to carrier, you can bring it with you wherever you happen to go, and because it's just a string of digits, it doesn't really have an identity associated with it like maybe your Skype ID has. So that's it, those are my thoughts, and
thanks very much.
Absolutely.